Hey, welcome back. It's Jason Walter here. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing a big update regarding housing construction numbers in the US. This is because we obviously need more houses to be built in order to have a more balanced real estate market and to cool off home prices further. I'll share the latest data with you, and some of this is encouraging news if you're a home buyer, yet there's some challenges that lay ahead, especially with a giant increase of lumber prices lately. Okay, so I have a lot to share with you in today's video, so let's first start with housing construction numbers in the US. And here's the headline on housingwire.com. August housing starts better than expected. Housing starts continue to rise despite material and labor shortages. So sounds good, right? If there's more housing construction going on right now, one would assume that would mean there'd be more new houses listed for sale in the coming months. Not so much though, because when I was analyzing this data from the US Census Bureau, they actually just announced this last week, I noticed that there was a larger share of multifamily housing starts and housing construction compared to single family construction. An increase of multifamily construction means that more apartment buildings are being built, for example, and therefore that could help renters in the months to come. However, if you're a home buyer, this doesn't really help you out because you're looking for a large increase of single family home construction. All right, so check this out. This is the seasonally adjusted number of housing starts in the US for August of 2021. And housing starts, by the way, is the beginning phase of the construction of building a brand new house. So total housing starts increased by almost 4% from July and by 17.4% from a year ago. However, starts for single family houses decreased by 2.8% from last month and only increased 5.2% from last year. In contrast, starts for buildings with 5 or more units have absolutely exploded. They increased a whopping 21.6% on a month-to-month basis and surged by 60.1% from August of 2020. So what this basically means is that builders are ramping up construction of multifamily properties such as apartment buildings, and this is good if you are a renter. However, this is bad news if you're a home buyer looking to buy a single family home because we need more houses to be built. We also can see this giant disparity of multifamily construction versus single family construction when looking at the number of permits pulled. So for example, according to the US Census Bureau, permits authorized for 1-unit properties, which are single family houses, were basically flat on a month-to-month and year-to-year basis. But have a look at 5+ units. The number of permits pulled skyrocketed by almost 20% from a month ago and by almost 53% compared to 1 year ago. According to the National Association of Home Builders, this is an ongoing theme. They noted that since early of 2013, there have been consistently more multifamily units under construction relative to single-family houses. In fact, over the last 10 years, we have seen a significant amount of underbuilding compared to prior decades. In the decades of the 1960s to the 1990s, there were approximately 9 to 11 million housing starts on average for single-family houses in the nation, but in the 2010s, there were only 6.8 million housing starts. But keep in mind, the population of the United States has increased greatly since the 1960s, so I actually did some digging for you guys and check this out. According to the US Census Bureau, in 1960, there were approximately 179 people living in the United States, and now there's a population of around 330 million people. So when taking into consideration this population increase over time, the housing construction numbers here are even more striking. Here are the number of housing starts per million people in the US, and this is averaged over the decade. So in the 1960s, there was almost 48,000 housing starts per million people. In the 1970s, it was over 50,000. As you can see, in the 1980s, 90s, and 2000s, there were about 41,000 housing starts. But in the 2010s, it was about half that amount. And by the way, I have a lot more to share in today's video, but if you're getting any value out of this video whatsoever, then I ask you to please hit the like button. I greatly appreciate that because this video took me literally hours to make with all the research involved. Also, if you're looking for a real estate agent referral from virtually anywhere in the US, then check out the link below or go to homeandmoney.com/Jason. Okay, so why has housing construction of single family houses, why has it been lagging behind? The National Association of Home Builders chief economist Robert Diaz said that single-family housing starts are distorted by the weak readings of the summer of 2020. While the single-family sector has been cooling off from the unsustainable pace of last winter, recent forward-looking readings suggest that trend is now stabilizing. For example, single-family permits have been stable since June. It is worth noting, however, that the number of single-family houses permitted but not yet started continues to be elevated, up 50% year over year to 140,000 single-family houses, a clear sign of ongoing supply chain issues. Due to a variety of issues that home developers are facing right now, many have opted to pull permits and not start construction. This is one of the main reasons, in my opinion, why the housing inventory numbers for brand new houses is distorted. So for example, the month supply of brand new houses from June to August of this year was around a 6-month supply. To an untrained eye, this would appear there's a balanced real estate market between home builders and home buyers because a housing supply in the range of 4 to 6 months implies a balanced market. However, what's included in these figures here is the total number of units where permits are pulled, but housing construction has not yet started. Therefore, this includes units in which the builder simply poured the concrete foundation, yet has decided to hold off on building the house. This is obviously completely different if we had a housing supply of brand new houses that were already built and ready to be moved in, but they simply were not selling. If that were the case, then we truly would have a balanced real estate market between home builders and home buyers. The reason why property developers are not ramping up construction of single-family houses is due to all the headwinds they are currently facing, so let's discuss. Some of the key challenges that they're facing right now is due to supply chain issues and labor challenges. According to the most recent press release, the prices of goods used as inputs to residential construction, excluding energy, have risen 12% year to date. As many of you have probably heard, the price of lumber has dropped drastically since early May of this year. However, this decline has been offset by large increases of the prices of other building materials. So for example, steel mill prices have increased in price by 80% year to date, and that was after an 11% increase in 2020. Laminated lumber is up by 40%, and wood window and door frames have increased by over 30%. Additionally, over the last 3 months, the products listed here have increased by at least 20% from April to July of this year. To top this off, an additional 21 products have increased in price by 10% or more since April. That's 5 times the rise in the consumer price index over that time period. This has caused home builder sentiment to fall. In fact, it has cooled since the index hit an all-time record high last November. The current reading is an index of 76. Other issues that builders are facing right now is an extension of delivery times of building materials. So for example, my wife and I are going to be going through a big remodel here pretty soon, and we ordered cabinets. Those are not going to be delivered for 12 weeks. We also ordered appliances that's going to take 3 to 6 months to get delivered. And developers right now are facing similar issues, making it very hard to build a lot of houses very quickly. In regards to lumber prices, I actually have a very big update for you guys. So lumber futures prices more or less bottomed out at around $450 this year. This is after reaching an all-time record high of almost $1,700 in early May. But I noticed that lumber's futures prices have skyrocketed by over 20% over the last month. So here's a big takeaway and a key point. Regardless if lumber prices go up or down, or if other material prices for building houses go up or down, if you're a home buyer, do not expect to have any discounts anytime soon. This is because the home developer sets their prices of their houses based on demand. So in other words, this is based on what the buyer is willing to pay for the house, not what the builder paid for the house. And by the way, if you're a home buyer, then check out this video right here, because in that video, I go over all my main concerns about buying a brand new house right now, and there's a lot of them. If you got any value out of this video, then please hit the like button. I greatly appreciate that. And also consider subscribing. Hope you have an awesome day, and look forward to seeing you on that video.